Yeah, that's the rules. It's supposed to be the rules. Anyway, so, yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not stupid. They apparently think they can just, there it is. And then I had somebody plagiarize their summary from the abstract of the article in one of my classes. And it got caught. It showed like 50% of it, because the summary's, so long. You've got a citation, that's always gonna show up as being plagiarized. And that's okay, I don't count that wrong because it's information, but I do check other things. I do check, and so I couldn't get to the document. I couldn't get into documents on Tuesday night at my house, so I had to wait till I was on campus, and I was like, oh, that's the abstract. I have to turn my mic back on. Make sure that's when, okay. Come back up here. Inbox, okay. Okay. was just sitting there looking at stuff. When you're in the class, you go to your section. It always helps me to be, by the way, registration starts tomorrow for the spring, and they have already loaded in the spring courses above my fall courses. So I'm so zoned in that I just click on the third course, the fourth course would be y'all's. But it's not, there's nothing in it, it's an empty shell that I haven't put anything in yet. So I've clicked on it already twice today, trying to get to a class. I don't want to smack somebody. So when you're in the class, go to course resources. If you can't find something, there's a good shot you'll have access to it in course resources. So like there's the tutoring, tutor.com. Here's a link to Purdue OWL. Grammar worksheets. In grammar worksheets are the apostrophe handouts. So everything I hand out to you ends up somewhere in the course. I would prefer that if I could call all of mine what we're writing. And but they don't, that's not how they want us our shells. So look, you're gonna see, if you stay here a couple of years, how the courses all begin to look exactly alike, so that you know where to go for everything. So it looks like everything's got to go in course resources or folders inside the wings. But there's apostrophe handout, so it looks like this. Okay?
There's just one paper.
No, there was actually a worksheet where we did the answers.
Oh, okay, so then just these two?
Yeah, that's all you really need is the top sheet, But when you're taking the test tomorrow, you have access to it. I'm wondering, I just got an email from Post this morning that they're having a Veterans Day celebration, so I think all of my students are actually having to deal with that, come to think of it. Yeah, here we go. I'm sorry for the late notice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. And how many do I have from Post? Let me get to this one. I have 8 from Post, so I'm guessing they're doing some kind of, and nobody's gonna do this. Or the 3 who aren't helping with it are sitting outside in the library not doing anything. They've been known to do that at Post. When my facilitator's not there, the kids won't go around. Hey, at least they have it, they didn't last year or the year before, so it's kind of, good, somebody's in there, awesome. So, glad to see that. So what I'm gonna do right now, what we're gonna work on is we're gonna talk about how to create a Works Cited. I will create a sample Works Cited in this class. I will load up the sample Works Cited into Course Resources, which is on your left-hand menu. I will, I'm also gonna make a video on how to do it, but I was telling Julius, I'm not gonna try to do it while I'm teaching it at the same time, because I'm just gonna be very concise and go, do this, do this, do this, do this, okay? Because if I do it, when I post a video in a class, I have to have closed captioning on it, and that takes a lot longer the more you talk. It's a long process. So this way I can just be nice and concise. So the first thing you're gonna do when you make a Works Cited is you need to start off with a Word document, or whatever one you're writing in, if it's Google Docs or whatever. Just remember you gotta save it as Word, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create that Word document, and I'm gonna put it on double spacing, and maybe that will work for all of them. It doesn't necessarily guarantee it will, but at least I've got that is the first thing in the Works Cited page. Sometimes if you go back and try to add double spacing after you've already written a bunch of stuff, it doesn't like it, okay? So now it's on double spacing. So, it just so happens that, like the good little teacher I am, I decided that I was going to, nope, not there. I was going to go ahead and find articles so that I didn't have to do it. So I went into, let me open up the Word document. I went into Opposing Viewpoints. I got 2 from Opposing Viewpoints, 1 from EBSCO, and I'm just gonna remind you how to deal with those things. So I'm gonna look at, you'll see it says TTWC essay, that's Tuesday, Thursday, Works Cited, sample, okay? So I'm gonna open up the first one, and when you come into it, you're gonna see it looks just like all of them. And one of the reasons why I want you to use the SBC databases is they give you the citations. You don't have to figure out, go find all the information. So that's one of the benefits of using those, besides the fact that they're gonna tend to be a little more trustworthy or believable. So when you scroll down to the bottom, there's your citation. I'm in Opposing Viewpoints, all right? And you're gonna see how it says, let's make it a little bit bigger. wrong way. Okay, see how it says copyright? That's not part of the citation. New York Times, that's the website where they got it from. Source citation, MLA 9th edition, is not part of the citation. It just tells you what style it is underneath it. So where it says we, Sue Lee, and Brian Tarnowski, that's my citation. So all I'm gonna do is copy that. I just highlight it and hit Control C. There's nothing, that's, using the mouse to do it doesn't always, it's not as easy to transfer it back in. But while I'm there, I wanna point out that the first author in a citation has always got last name listed first, because that's how it's alphabetized. In the database, when you do a search, it goes and looks for and you've got an author's name, it goes and looks for that last name. When you go to graduation, you didn't line up by first names, right? You lined up by last names because you have to do it. That's the most logical way to do it, okay? So what I've seen on summaries, though, is that people would say, in the article, Shortage of Lab Monkeys, by we, Sue Lee, and Brian Tarnowski, you would give me the names wrong. When you're writing about them, you got to figure out which is, because I had somebody was doing something by Scott Paris, and they kept calling him Paris, because Paris was listed first. Or no, they kept calling him Paris because, they got it backwards. All right, so I've got that in there, so I'm going to go over to my works cited, which has now been set on doublespace, and I'm going to paste that in, and I can see the citations in there. I'm going to go ahead right now, and I'm going to make this Times New Roman, and I'm going to make it 14 points, so that you can see it. All right, so as I look at it, while I'm here, one of the smart things I can do after I put in my first citation, I'll put my cursor into that top line, and I want to put in the hanging indent. So that video's in course resources. If you don't remember how to do it, you go to paragraph, you click on that little arrow, and you come down on that first page. The second section says indentation. You go to special, and you select hanging, not indent, hanging. And you're going to see down there at the bottom where you can see those three little lines at the bottom where it gives you the preview. When I click on hanging, all of a sudden those two lines moved over to the right, didn't they? That's how MLA looks. And I click MLA, and there it is. Okay? So now I'm going to go look at my second source. I can do this all at the end. I don't have to do it as I go. And it's going to take me 5 minutes to do the entire thing, whereas it used to take me hours. So I'm going to open up the next article. That's going to be A2. And I'm at the bottom of, this is another opposing viewpoint. I'm at the bottom. Once again, just to remind you, you've got copyright, where it was published, source citation, and here you have the citation. And you don't need that Gale document number, because I can't, if I put the document number in, it's not going to do anything for me. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm just to remind everybody, this starts by, this person's name is Brouillard Karen. So Brouillard is her last name. So alphabetically, a works cited is in alphabetical order, because it's easier to find the sources. It's not in the order in which you quote, it's alphabetical order. It makes a lot more sense that way. So I've copied that. I'm going to go back to the Word document. I'm going to come down here because B comes before W. I just hit enter and moved it down the line. See, it took everything with it. I'm going to come back up there, put my cursor up there, and I'm going to paste in. Now it's a different font. I'm not going to worry about that right now because I'm going to add another two sources to this. So I'll just make it all the same font at the same time. But you'll see the hanging indent was in there, right? Okay, so my third source is EBSCO. That's right here. Okay, so now when you're in EBSCO and Academic Search Complete, the issue is you don't get the citation. When you download the document, all you get is the document, okay? So now I need to make sure that I've got a citation. So I'm going to go back over here. Let's go into EBSCO. And I'm just going to use this as a sample to show you how to make sure you get the best version. So this is actually an article that a student used on a summary that I was checking something on earlier today, okay? So when I'm in here, and I've looked at the article, I opened up the PDF full text. I can open it up right now and see. Okay, I want this article because it's about the relationship between Israeli youth and athletics, okay, and antisocial behavior. So I come over here. Now I don't want to mess around too much. I don't really want to download it just yet. What I'm going to do is I want to email it to me. That's the thing to do. Don't download your document. Email it. You can download it from there. And so I get this email option, so I've got to type in, who's it going to go to? Me. So there's P. Thompson at South Plains College. I'm just gonna go Article 4, I'm just putting that in there. And I can see, send in plain text, HTML full text when available, or PDF as separate attachment. But then I get to, down here to format, and it says detailed citation and abstract. That's not what I want yet, but down here where it says citation format, that's where I need to change it to MLA. Because if you leave it defaulted at Brazilian National Standard, it won't be right. So I've got to go down here, go to MLA 8th edition, and then all I have to do, come on, it's having a little trouble. I know that this is submit, the yellow button is. I'm gonna click submit. So I got, see, it tells continue that they sent the email to me, all right? So I want to work from the email version. So I'm gonna go over to my email, okay? And you're gonna see that there's an article in there, but actually, the actual article that fits in with this particular topic, I sent to myself yesterday. So when I open up this document, there, if I open this up, I can preview that and see that that's the article about reporting about animal experimentation, which is the topic I decided to use for this class, okay? So I've got that there, but when I go back to the email, if I scroll down, look, there's the works cited right there, okay? Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. I'm not doing, I gotta get to animal experimentation, sorry, yep. See, I've sent that one twice, here we go. This should be it. Yeah. Diaz Silvina, Diaz conducting and reporting animal experimentation is the one I want. So there's my citation. If I highlight it here, I'm not gonna get the gray out if I try to do it from the actual library page. So I've got that copied there. I go back here and Diaz comes after Brouillard. So I have to hit enter to get the new line. Because if I put it after this, it takes that as being part of the previous citation. So you always have to go to a new line. I paste it in, and there it is, right where I need it to be. It looks awesome, okay? So now, what I need to do is I want to show you how to do a website. So, for instance, you would decide, hey, I'm going to put a quote. I'm going to find a good quote about death penalty or about animal experimentation. So you go and you look for it. So we'll go back over here. I'm going to come up here. Let's see. And I'm just going to type into Google. By the way, it's Veterans Day. Animal experimentation pros and cons. I've already done this today. Okay? And so it's got scholarly articles, animal testing pros and cons, pro-con.org. So I'm going to click on that. And this is, wow, this is by Britannica, pro-con.org. It's got all, it looks like it got lots of good stuff. Okay. It gives you pros and cons. And I do have people writing on this topic. I think I have 2 people doing this topic. But I don't think it's anybody in these classes. If it is, you just got a bonus, okay? So I can see now I have this. So I'm going to go to Purdue OWL. And in your course resources, there's a link, or actually I have it up a couple times, but I'm going to get out of it just to show you how easy it is to get to it. All you have to do is come in here and type in Purdue OWL and MLA, though I have a link in course resources for you. And I want to go down where it, tell me to hit the screen, Purdue OWL MLA, and I open that up. And one of the issues with Purdue OWL is to pay for their website and how extensive it is, they have a lot of ads in there, so you have to find your way through the ads. I have my volume turned down because the ads have music with them, some of them. So I'm going to scroll down here, and it says MLA formatting install guide. Don't worry about what's coming up there, but I see cite your source automatically in MLA, and you can, it says website, book, journal article, online video, or film. Okay, I'm going to do a website because that's where I went. I was at Procon, remember, by Britannica. So I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to copy that internet address. And then I'm going to go back over to MLA, and I'm going to load that. I just copied the address in there, and I'm going to click cite. It's not quite that simple. There's a little bit more work we have to do, okay? So as I scroll down, there's all this gotta get past it. I can see source type, search, all this stuff. I could search for it, but it found it. It found one result, pros and cons at ProCon, animal testing ProCon. So I'm going to click cite. And so again, if I try to click on all these things to get them out, it just goes crazy. So I have to be careful what I'm on. But it's got, here's what we found, it gives you the article title, the URL, the website title, gives you the date, gives you the date it was published. It says, here's what we'll need your help with, publisher, sponsor. And it says, edit on next step, so you gotta go down where you see continue, okay? So I can see that there's more junk up here at the top, but as I get down here, what I'm citing, pros, cons, and it asks for the author, and it asks for a first name, middle initial, last name. Okay, so when I go back into ProCon, the Botanica one, to find out authors, I'm gonna see it says author is procon.org, okay? So I'm gonna go back now, it's a corporate entity, so there is no last name. Oh, wrong line, that's where I need to be. So I'm gonna come over at last name, and I'm gonna type in procon.org, okay? And then it says online publication information, it asks for the publication or sponsor. That's the person who created the website. I have a pretty good idea who it was, but to get to that, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom page, where you get all this stuff about this site, home, about all that, and I look at it and it says Procon Encyclopedia Britannica, but it is copyrighted by Encyclopedia Britannica Incorporated. That's the publisher. That's the entity that put this out there. So I'm just gonna copy that. So I go back to my citation thing, and then publisher or sponsor, and I load that in. And it's got all this stuff on it, use today's date, data access, use today's date, add annotation, I don't want that, complete citation. That's pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, so I come over here, and it's doing MLA 9. What you're gonna see in here is, I have a works cited one because I've been doing this, okay? So the last one is the one that I did, one above it's exactly the same, so I click on that, and then I'm gonna come look over here, and it says review, ignore. You know, the three little dots indicate that there are more options. Y'all get that? I click on that, and it says copy citation. It will also check your paper for grammar problems and plagiarism. So guess what? You could do that. Let me hit that copy again. So now it's copied. It's sitting in my copy queue. I go back to the Word document, and Procon was the author. That's a P. So I'm gonna come over here. After DS, I hit an enter, and I'm gonna copy in that, and I can see that it went in the wrong spot. That was my bad. Okay, so now it's there. All I had to do is hit enter. I've got to make that one. It's real easy to fix things, okay? Procon here, but now I can see I have some that are not the same size. I'm going to get rid of empty space, okay? I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to make it Times New Roman 14 point. Make sure your fonts all match, please. I got a summary that had 3 different fonts in it. How hard is it to just make, it looks prettier if it's all the same. I'm gonna make it 14 points so you guys can see it, because I'm still not done with this. We can see we've got an issue with the Silva. Hold on. Hit volume. I've got to clean that up. Once I get them on the same line, all I have to do is hit the tab. See, it's not holding the double spacing. That's gonna happen sometimes. But I've got it back in there. It wasn't hard to do, okay? So now when I look at it, I need to make sure that they italicize everything that needs to be italicized. Because if you look at the websites, they say, this may have some errors in it. It's not always perfect. So I'm gonna look for things like italicizing publications. So this was published, the first one was published in the Washington Post. That's a publication, it should be italicized. Galen context of opposing viewpoints, that's your database, it should be italicized. I didn't underline it, I just italicized it. It's pretty quick, isn't it? It's not hard. I come down to conducting this one, I can see it's got European Journal of Neuroscience, everything in there is good, but what it doesn't give me is the date it was accessed. So I'm gonna add in here, access 11, well actually I found it yesterday, 10, access November 11, November 2021, because it's always day, month, year, okay? So that was the one that was EBSCO. So I come down to Procon, I see things are italicized. Once again, hold on. Here's what happened. It made that link, a hyperlink. I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to get rid of underlining, okay? And I'm going to take the ink color to black. And it's just little things like that to check on. But I need to put access 10 November 2021, okay? That's simple to do it. And then this other one from opposing viewpoints, New York Times should be italicized, as well as Gale in context, opposing viewpoints. Okay? And I have one last thing to do on this. Let me shrink it down though so you can see it. See how it looks all the same? See how that looks all the same? There's an odd little spacing there, but I can live with that. I'm not gonna get upset if you've got like an extra tenth of or 0.10 space in there. What I need to do is I need to put the title on this document. So I return, hit centered, and typed in works cited, because there's more than one. And it's that quick and easy to do. What I'll put down at the bottom is this, the pro-con source is a website. So if you need to copy it, you can see. But basically, when you're talking about a source, you always look for an author, and it can be a corporate entity, like Procon, or it could be, a couple of students have had some that have had corporate entities. Choosing Responsibility, I think was one somebody had, okay. You've got to have the author, you have to have the title of the page you're on, possibly if it's a part of a larger site, you can give that. You need to give the internet address and the date you got it off the internet. And you need to check and see if there was a date it was put on the internet. And a lot of times down at that last piece of information, they'll give you a copyright. Down here at the bottom, see how it says copyright 2020? If you don't have a date of publication, you at least have a date that the website was last updated, okay? So that's simple to do and works cited. It's not difficult. Again, and of course, resources. I knew it started with an R. I was going to say records. No, resources. In course resources, I'll have a video that has this done so you can stop it and start it, okay? And do what you need to do. So that's that. So now we're going to talk about apostrophes, because you have the apostrophe quiz tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you, take it during your class time. The kids need to take it during class time, because I know there's football games tomorrow. I think both schools are playing football tomorrow. Girls probably aren't going to play basketball till the next day, okay? That's how that goes. But we're coming into basketball too, so if you take it during class hours, then I'm not going to be cranky about all these people saying, well, I mean, I had somebody tell me from one of my other schools, well, I couldn't take the quiz last Friday because I was homesick, and then I played a football game, so I couldn't take it at night. And I'm like, you can't play football if you aren't in school that day. That's the rule, UIL rule, okay? So don't tell me that kind of stuff. You just didn't take it. So take it during class hours. You'll be a lot more successful. Hey, Pacer, have you got research done? Wave your hand if you have. Did you got your death penalty sources? I hope. Is he there? Wave your hand out to the side so I can see it. Or wave your crutch, one or the other. You dislocated your kneecap, is that right? Something like that. Not fun. Okay, so now we'll talk about the quiz tomorrow. It is going to be over apostrophe, so you should have the apostrophe pages out. All right. I'm trying to close off all of the database stuff I have from the library. Okay, so in the grammar unit, in your course resources, you also have grammar worksheets. You have a grammar section. But when you're in here, tutor, you've got a link to Purdue OWL. Remember, that's where I showed you where how to cite the source from a database was, or from a website. That's there. Grammar worksheets. Let's see, I should have a link to, let me get into the class. There should be a link to Chomp Chomp. It says parallelism, Chomp Chomp. I probably should take that off because I don't test over parallelism anymore. The website is called Grammar Bites or Chomp Chomp. So I'm just going to click on that one, because I can get out of parallelism very easily. I've got stripping the cotton nose today, sorry. Everything's itching. Okay, loading up. Exercise one. I don't want to be there, so I'm just going to, it's not going to let me do it. Get it? I'll fix that. I'll get that straightened out. I'm just going to type in Chomp Chomp. I can type. And it'll show you Chomp Chomp, and it says Chomp Chomp. Terms of Grammar Bites. I'm just going to click on exercise and it'll take you to the big website. So one more. So as I'm here, I'll scroll down. This is the one that has, it's got all these things on it. I don't wanna be in comma slices. It's crazy. Let's go back there. Sorry. I'll try to get you to the main page. There we go, comma splices, all that. Scroll down, you'll see apostrophes. I'm not the person that created the website. I would have them all in alphabetical order because it's easier to find them when they're in alphabetical order instead of having to read everything. So we're gonna deal with, we're gonna look at exercise 1. And so because, I can't run I have to have my computer over here to have it hooked up. So I can't ask individuals for the answer, so we have a hand signal to determine what the answer is. So if the answer is A, you hold your hands up like this. A is this, okay? B is going to be, cross your hands over your chest, okay? C is, see I've got 2 feet, one going each way? Guess I'm giving the, icon for coach, right? Or talking, okay. And then D is gonna be Jasmine. Now, there's not always 4 answers. Sometimes there's only 2. So A and B are gonna have them wrong. So A, B, C, D. Okay. All right, so here we go. Interactive exercise 1. Let me tell you, Abernathy was doing the wave yesterday. They were having a good time doing chomp. So. Okay, so here we go. And I'm just gonna start off with post. I know there's just a limited number of y'all in there. Let me make this bigger so that you can read it on the computer or off the TV screen. So annoying music escaped from Kenya's earbuds. So you have only A and B, so we have the hands in the air or hands crossed over the chest for the answer at post. So it says Kenya's contains the correct apostrophe or no apostrophe is necessary. Since I can barely see you guys, you're gonna have to be very obvious. So you have to decide, is Kenya's correct or you don't need the apostrophe? What do you think, A or B? I see somebody up the front. Oh, no, that's New Deal. Sorry, I thought the tables were close enough, I thought the same. What do you think, post, A or B? I see a hand in the air. Okay. Do the other two agree or not? Come on, give me some hand action. And then you know what, there we go, thank you. Now I can see it. All right, New Deal, what do you think? Is it A or B? I'm saying, what do you guys think? Here at SBC. It's this way, not that way. This is Y-N-C-A. Okay, see how, wait, was it Y-N-C-A? Okay, what was that? Okay, my bad. All right, A, contains the correct apostrophe. Yes, you're right. Okay, so I'm going to remind you how to do the test. Now, your test is just going to have a sentence on it, and you have to decide, yes, the sentence is correct, or no, the sentence is incorrect. But the only errors in the sentence are going to be apostrophe errors. Don't sit there and go, that's the wrong verb. No. The only kind of error we'll have to deal with an apostrophe. Either you've used it incorrectly or you haven't used it, okay? That's how it works. So, remember what you can say is, the ear of Kenya, does she own that ear? Yeah, it is her ear, okay? And there's only one ear, or earbud, okay? So, that's why it's correct. So, number 2, we'll go over to New Deal. Buy your own pen. You cannot borrow ours. So, A says ours does not need an apostrophe. B says ours should have an apostrophe between the R and the S. And R should have an apostrophe after the S. So you have A, B, and C. So we have hands out, cross, or C. Okay, what do you think? What do you think, New Deal? Buy your own pens, you cannot borrow ours. A, B, or C? I'm hoping you, somebody moved, but I'm not sure what you're doing. Don't be chewing on your hand. Are you eating breakfast or what? Okay. No answers from New Deal? A, arms up in the air. B, crossed over your chest. I see one arm up. Somebody's made a point. You cannot, in the back there, thank you. Awesome. You can't just hold them down by your body. We don't know what you look like. You don't look goofy to us. Okay? All right? You guys have no clue what I do, because I was there last Friday. Okay? So I have one person saying, I see some more hands up. What do you think, post, A, B, or C? I see somebody pushing their hair back. What do you guys think at SBC? A, B, or C? Kale's doing A? Is that an A? Kale says A. Anybody else here at SBC? Do you know? Okay, let me explain. Let me come back and tell you something. If you have that page out for apostrophes, it will tell you possessive pronouns do not get apostrophes. And if I'm talking about our test tomorrow, Whose test is it? Ours. It's possessive. You do not need an apostrophe on ours. So you were right, the two people who, Kel, you're one of them, who did it. Ours does not need an apostrophe, okay? So I'm going to use, as we go through it, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the rule, because there's only those three rules. It has to be possessive, it has to be a contraction, or it has to be a plural of a number, symbol, or character. Stop. No, symbol and character. No, plural of a letter, number. Yeah, it's on the page. Okay. All right, so this one goes to SBC. So ask Henry for help. His brain possesses all kinds of strange trivia. Is it A, possesses contains a correct apostrophe, or B, you must spell the word like this? Gail's giving me his answer. What do you guys think, A or B? What, are you giving me a signal, Lauren, or are you just calling? You're just calling? All right, so the good news is on this, they give you the word that they're asking about. Look at the word after possesses. Can all be possessed? How do you possess all? Oh, Kel just changed his mind. And Isaiah finally had, okay, because of what I just said, right? It is all of the possessive. That makes no sense. You do have a possessive pronoun in that sentence, and it is his. Whose brain is it? His brain. Possesses is a verb. Do you know how often I see verbs with apostrophes on them? Way too frequently in your writing I see an apostrophe on a verb. It should be, you must spell the word like this, possesses. Okay? So, that's one of the things to watch out for. If it's a verb, particularly if it ends in ED, it can't be possessed. Are you with me? You can't own something that ends in D. That's a past tense verb. All right? So think of it that way. Now we're going to go back over to post number 4. The alarm clock's buzz startled Shane awake. It's about time for Shane to wake up. Okay? Clocks does not need an apostrophe. Clock should have an apostrophe between the K and the S. So always look at the word after the word that's being asked about. So on the test, look for words with S's. That tells you if it's possessive. If you see a contract, you know what I'm saying? You've got to read the sentence and pay attention. So, can a clock possess the word buzz? What do you think, Post? A or B? Clock does not need an apostrophe, or a clock should have an apostrophe between the K and the S. What do you think? I'm seeing B from one person at Post. Yeah, give me that strong arm. You're not going to press B, right? Okay. What do you think, Noodle? A or B? I see arms crossed from one person. Thank you. What do you guys think? I've got conflicting answers here. Okay, so let's look at it. The buzz of the alarm clock startled Shane away. Does the clock own that buzz? Does the clock own that buzz? I'm not saying the clock buzzed Shane, am I? I'm saying the buzz startled. Look at what's right after buzz. Startled. There's your verb. Buzz is not the verb. So yes, it should be B. It should be B. Okay? Is this helpful? Do you think I'm helping you for tomorrow? That's what I'm trying to do. It's, sometimes it's kind of elementary. It tends to be very politically correct. They like to use multiple names for multiple cultures and countries. This one's actually been kind of calm. Okay, Post, you've got this one. Oh, no, wait, it's you guys here. Okay. Yeah, it's SBC. While the bee buzzes among the blooms, a patient mantis waits to strike. This is about death in the insectile world, isn't it? Okay. Buzzes does not need an apostrophe. You must spell the word like that with a Z apostrophe S, or you must spell the word with an apostrophe after the ES. So you've got 3 options. Is it correct as it stands, or do you need to make it possessive? What's the word after buzzes? SBC. You guys can say it, because I can hear you. Among. So, among of the buzzes. Does that make sense? Cal's going like this. He's not like, I'm not sure it's okay. What do y'all think? Can buzzes, among of the buzzes? Doesn't make sense, does it? So, what is buzzing? The bee. And if it's buzzing, that's an action, so it's the verb. So Cal, you were right with your tentative answer, okay? It is a. Yeah, because the word after it has to be possessed. That's, okay. Possessive words are adjectives. They tell you whose, right? They tell you ownership. That's what they're giving you. Who does it belong to, all right? So, you have to look at the word after it. So, on the test, what you have to do is look at the word after an S, if you're not sure if it should be possessive or not. If you say the dog's butt of the dog, okay? Or you can say butt belongs to the dog, that may make it easier. Or if I say the clock's buzz, the buzz belongs to the clock, yes it does. It's part of that clock, it's an internal part of it, okay? Alright, so we'll go on to number 6, so we're back at post. Gotta remember which way to move my cursor. The Larsons decided not to shutter their windows, even though they were taking vacation at the height of hurricane season. They're not very smart people, are the Larsons. If you're at the height of hurricane season and the weather could be bad, you put your shutters on, okay? So Larsons contains the correct apostrophe. The apostrophe should come after the S, Larsons, or Larsons should not have an apostrophe. So we have A, B, and C. What do you think? What do you think, Post? A, B, or C? No apostrophe? Should have it after the S, or it should not have an apostrophe. It contains the correct one. It should have one after the S, and it should not have one. A, B, or C, Post? Help me out here. We're still thinking about it, huh? You know, you could turn on the TVs at the back of the room, and those on that back row could read those TVs a lot easier than the ones up at the front. Just throwing that out there. Can you see how they're on at Newdale? So if you're at the back of the room at Newdale, you can look behind you and see it a lot more easily. What do you think, Post? A, B, C? I'm seeing, is that a C? Am I seeing C's or am I seeing A's? Okay, I'm seeing C's. Okay, guess what? What's the word after Larson's? The word is decided. Remember I said if it's got ED on the end of it, it's a verb. It can't be possessed. So, Larson should not have an apostrophe. And I'm not really telling you the grammar rule, I'm just telling you how the sentence makes sense. You can't possess a verb. So if you've got ED, that's what it means. All right, new deal. Betty Ann could not resist petting the adorable poodle puppies. Lots of nice alliteration in there, okay? Puppies contains the correct apostrophe. No apostrophe is necessary. Puppies should have the apostrophe after the S. Puppies. Okay, what do you think? A, B, or C? I've got a cross chest. I'm seeing some cross chest, okay. Cross chest pass. Wait, cross chest pass? So it was just called a chest pass, okay. All right, so they're saying no apostrophe is necessary. Isaiah's saying that. What do you guys say? Okay. Lauren's on her phone or on her computer. It's okay. All right, so here's the other clue. If a word is at the end of the sentence, it cannot be possessive because it has to be followed by the word that it possesses. So if you end a sentence and the word is possessive, then you forgot to add the word after it, because that does happen. But if you say the clock belongs to my grandparents, but it is also ours, that's possessive. But you have to think about what's going on in the sentence. But if you see a word apostrophe S at the end of a sentence, no, that can't be right, because you haven't put the word in. So if it is at the end of the sentence, it cannot be possessive. So no apostrophe is necessary. Good job. All right, who am I up to? Am I up to? That was post, so now we're going to, no wait, that was post. So now we're going to noodle, or noodle, if you know. Our stomachs might burst. We shouldn't have eaten so many fried cheese sticks. Okay, wait, that's not possessive. What is that? That's a contraction. That's the second rule, okay? So shouldn't contains the correct apostrophe. The apostrophe must come between the D and the N where the space was omitted. Okay, so what? If you have your page about apostrophes out in front of you, guess what it gives you? It tells you how to do contractions. What do you think, Noodle? A or B? You're saying B? The apostrophe must come between the D and the N? Okay, so if you go look at your apostrophe page, I'm thinking, I don't have it up. If you go look at your apostrophe page, the apostrophe occurs where you omit the letter, not between the two words. It's where you omit the letter. So it is correct because you're taking out the O from not. So you're wrong, Noodle. Go, do you have nobody's got the apostrophe page out, okay? When you take that test tomorrow, have that page in front of you, okay? You can have the one we worked through is fine, but the one with the rules is the best one because it has the rules. So remember, contractions, it's between you apostrophe out the letter omitted. Okay, so SBC. Philip banged his knees on the metal bar beneath the desk. Knees contains the correct apostrophe. Knees should have the apostrophe before the S. There's no apostrophe in knees. So what's the first thing you need to do when you're talking about, because there's an apostrophe in here, you look at the word right after it. And can that word be possessed by the word with the the apostrophe in it? Can you own on? On belongs to need. So the answer is going to be C. There's no C. There's no apostrophe. You like this hand signal, don't you? Yeah, there's no apostrophe in these. So yeah, so let's don't say of the. Let's say what was it? The word was on belongs to knees. No, it doesn't. All right, we'll go do a couple more. Kimberly's, we're back at post. Kimberly's agile fingers typed the password too quickly for Pedro to catch. Pedro's a little thief. Kimberly's contains the correct apostrophe. The apostrophe should come after the S in Kimberly's. Now, when you look at these two answers, they tell you that the word should be possessive. Do you get that if your two options like that, how that does? That tells you it has to be possessive. So now we have to decide, is it correct or is it correct as singular possessive or is it correct as plural possessive? Plural possessive would be S apostrophe. Singular possessive is apostrophe S. So, if I'm looking at the sentence, Kimberly's agile fingers, Kimberly's fingers, she owns those fingers, right? It's not like she cut them off somebody else and she's typing the password with somebody else's fingers. Sounds like a horror movie waiting to happen, doesn't it? Oh, don't they ever cut off fingers and use them to get into finger stuff that's got fingerprint? Yeah. Oh, okay. So, and if she's typing the password, then Kimberly can only be one person, so it has to be singular possessive. So it's got to be what? I guess post left. Bye, guys. Post contains the correct apostrophe. Okay? Hey, it happens. Okay, number 11, new deal. We wouldn't try one of your oatmeal raisin cookies for cash. We have seen your dirty kitchen. So we have is a correct contraction, and we must spell the word like this. Weave. Weave or weave? I went weave. Well, that's how you pronounce that one, weave or weave. Which one's right? Okay, I'm getting a message from somebody here. What do you think, new deal, A or B? For this contraction. Okay, I'm seeing B's. Yeah, weave. Weave? No, it's got to be. You must spell the word like this. Yeah, weave. But again, if you don't want to make that error in your writing, don't do contractions. Does that make sense? Don't go we of. We of would have. No. Okay, sorry. All right, SBC, here's your last one out of this one. We spent more time on our science fair project than Karen and Denny did, but everyone is ignoring our work to view theirs instead. Theirs contains the correct apostrophe. Theirs should have the apostrophe after the S. Theirs should not have an apostrophe. This should be a quick one. There's the rule. What do you do with possessive pronouns? What I said several times about possessive pronouns. Say what? What? It doesn't own? No. We're talking about possessive pronouns. Possessive pronouns are possessive. So you don't need an apostrophe S on a possessive pronoun. That's the rule. Okay? Yeah. Well, instead can't be on, but the thing is, this is one of those quirky sentences. We spent more time on our science project than Karen and Denny did, but everyone is on our work to view their work. Okay? That's what's implied in there. So yes, sometimes instead can't be on, but you have to look at what's the possessive word. Yeah, I know instead can't. You could have just said, you could have ended it there, and because you've implied it's their work. Okay? So there should not have an apostrophe. So there's a rule that precedes the one that I told you about at the end of a sentence. Okay? So possessive pronouns, no apostrophes. Let's talk its, ITS. The cat licked its paw. To check that, you go, the cat licked its paw. That doesn't make sense. So that's why you don't put the contraction in it, because IT apostrophe S is always it is. It's always the contraction. There's never an apostrophe. So, we're gonna go over and try a different exercise. Since we're down to 2 schools, let's go to exercise 2. I keep forgetting. Exercise 6. We are not doing parallel structure. Forget that. There's apostrophes. And we'll just go do exercise 2. And I may jump around. So, this one's not help if I make it bigger and smaller. To avoid muddy dog prints, Noodle, on Mom's clean floor, we left the puppies in the backyard. Well, now we've got 4 answers, because you have 3 options. So you have to decide which one's right, or which one's wrong. Prints, moms, and puppies. So you change prints. Thanks for telling me. I appreciate that. Go. Change prints to, okay, to avoid mud dog prints, let me make it even bigger. On Mom's clean floor, we left the puppies in the backyard. Change prints to prints, change moms to moms. So you're making this one possessive, this one you're making not possessive. Here you're making it, taking it from possessive to plural, or you need no change. So what do you think? A, B, or C, or D? Let me go back up to the sentence. To avoid muddy dog prints, what's the word? After prints. It's the word on, and Noodle's leaving early. We'll just go through it for you guys. Prints is on belongs to Prince, no. Mom's clean floor belongs to Mom. She cleaned it. We left the puppies in the backyard. Puppies in belongs to puppies. But, so, instead of puppies being possessive, it needs to be, what's that word? If I want to have more than one puppy, it needs to be plural. So it's spelled incorrectly. So it's going to be C, okay? It's C, all right? And if they're gone, you guys can go, okay? Remember, take the test tomorrow. If you want to work your way through, there are some later on where you actually have to write the answer, some of the long exercises that come after this one. But I would just, if you want to work through 2 and 3, you can do that, okay? Okay, you guys have a good one too. Enjoy work. And when you got out of here in time? Are you going to be able to make it?
Yeah.
This is very long. Here's mine. Take that off. That'll help right there. Okay.
Your conference is scheduled to end in 2 minutes.
Up.
Your conference is now over. Goodbye.